Let's go ahead and refresh it here. 625. Can you guys believe that there's 625,000 real players playing this game? 200,000 of those are bots. Here we go.
Recently, Asmongold talked about bot numbers in Lost Ark during one of his...
Why we really had to use this frame? Why we had to use this little frame right here? Like, why we had to do this one little specific frame? Like, is this really what we had to do? Oh my god.
Streams, and I was recommended to watch this video on my community Discord. I took a look. I found it quite interesting, right, what he had to say. Basically, just to give you a TLDR, he was comparing Lost Ark's highs and lows for the month of April with many other games around the world in terms of April highs and lows. Now, I only have here a couple of other examples opened, but he had a lot more. Basically, if you take any game on Steam that is known not to have bots, then the highs generally are doubling the lows. So the assumption that Asmongold was making during his stream, and that many other people are making based on these Steam charts graphs, is that everything that's outside of the norm could potentially be a bot. And by that logic, an example just to simplify everything in case you're still confused, a normal game peaks at 10 players and its lowest point should be around 5 players. That is considered an average if you look at Steam charts and find other games and look at their behavior. In Lost Ark, it peaks at 10 players, but its lowest point is somewhere around 7 or 8 players, which makes people believe in turn that this is due to bots which really never log off, thus never really contributing to that low point being as low as a human being would make it. But again, all of this is speculative. We don't really have any official data to back this up. So
I mean, imagine if Amazon was like, yeah, listen, we had a fucking, some of you guys talking about this like bot thing. About half the players are bots, guys. Yeah, half the population is bots right now. We don't really give a fuck, so that number is probably gonna go up. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. We just wanted to be transparent and let y'all know pretty much what's going on.
We look at is sort of common sense combined with examples from other games. Please tell me if you have any thoughts about things I'm going to say during this video. If I go wrong somewhere, please let me know in the comments below. This is how we have a conversation on YouTube. I read what you guys have to say.
Man, guys, I can't believe that like Final Fantasy fell off that hard, because whenever he pulled up the Steam charts for the game, it only had like 20,000 people playing. That's crazy. Wow, bro, like, was Endwalker not good or what? That's too bad, man. It had a good run, right?
And it's always very, very interesting. So just to start from the beginning of the month of April, 31st of March was a Thursday, so that's a maintenance, and we're gonna zoom in a little bit. The highest peak recorded after the maintenance, during the maintenance day, is 351,000. Since I'm very bad with numbers from top of my head, we're gonna add them right here. So 351,000 as a peak, and then we have the first low, 195,000.
65%.
Let's add it right here. We're gonna check how much percentage is that out of that. 55%. Now this is still within norms, especially for an MMO, right? This seems to be the norm. Basically the highs doubling the lows. This is not really doubling it, but just saying it's very close. So in the first day after the maintenance, stuff seems to look quite well. Now, many people believe that bots need time to restart their things, to maybe download updates. They're slow because they have several machines on which they have to do this. So, you know, it takes a bit longer for bots to come in the game. However, what's interesting is for you to see how this graph, can we zoom even further? So this graph looks very nice here in terms of highs and then lows. But you can see that right here, the lows are not so low, because the next peak, next day, is 346,000. 346,000, right? And then the second low is 222,000. This is already a bit different. From 55%, which is quite normal,
Yeah.
to 64%. So 10% more players the second day playing at the low point. Some people believe that if you play at the low point, right, that means that you sort of always play the game, and nobody always plays the game.
Well, I think that the game, here's really what this is what my assertion is with the way that this graph has changed, is that it's been a combination of the game retaining an audience. I think there are a lot of people that play Lost Ark authentically, but I also think that as botting becomes, the longer that you can bot and the more money that you can make out of botting, the more money you're going to want to do and more money you're going to want to invest into botting. So it's like if you're making, let's say, like, oh, I don't know, like $100 a day botting, and you can make $200 a day, wouldn't you want to try to make $200 a day instead? And I think that's why this number changes and it goes up, is because the real amount of players isn't really changing that much at all. I think that it's retaining a very strong audience of around, I don't know, like maybe 200 to 350,000 players, somewhere around there. But the amount of bots is increasing because Amazon isn't banning the bots fast enough. Because if they ban the bots faster, what would happen is that it would go up and down much more regularly. But because the bots aren't getting banned, there is just going to be an increase in bots more and more and more over time because you constantly scale the botting in the game. That's what happens. You're not banning them at all. They don't even try. Exactly. And that's why you keep having more bots. So effectively, the way that this works is that, like, I've spent a lot of time like thinking about botting and like this kind of stuff. So they should hardware ban bots to make botting expensive as fuck. It won't matter. Like, the thing is that any idea that you have that you think will make botting easier to detect, the botters can get around it. Like, they can 100% get around it. That's the way it goes. So I think that what's going to happen are more bots than humans. I think that could be the case at this point. I'm not sure. But I feel like a lot of these people, they're going to just keep making more and more bots because they can just make more and more money. Like, the best thing about botting is that with a game like Lost Ark is that you don't have a fixed upfront cost. You don't have a fixed cost of buying the game. So like in World of Warcraft, you have to spend $15 to have the, like, 40 or however much Shadowlands is now, plus the $15. So you have to spend a lot of money as like a fixed investment to get that character up and running. But with Lost Ark, you just log on and go. And that's going to make getting into botting and making your profits of botting much easier.
Unless they're bots. Things take a little bit of a turn for the worse in week 3 of April, where, for example, right after the maintenance, the first peak right here is 415, and then the first low is 321. So 415 and 321. This is already getting into the 75 percentile, right? Which means that there's only a difference of 25% in between the highs and the lows. Here we have 554,000 at peak, and then we have 438 at low, 438, 554,000. 79%, right? So somehow we are missing 30% of difference. I'm not...
Here's the difference. Is that this is what I think. I think the player base has stayed the same. I would argue that the player base has stayed the same because the highs and lows are about the same for each day here as they are up here. But I think what happened is that all of the new players and the numbers that are causing it to increase are bots. You see what I'm saying? So like the overall graph is going up because you're raising the floor.
Saying that the difference should be there. All I'm saying is that if you compare with every other game, there is a noticeable difference in between how they behave, right?
True.
Even New World, right? Let's not even compare with Aeon. We can take a look at New World also and see that it behaves sort of similarly. Let's just do from the beginning of April, right? Where's
there we
April?
Go.
Here, 1st of April.
The
same exact thing, and it's a newer game, right? Dead, not dead, it doesn't really matter. So 31,000 at peak, and then we have 15,000 at low. 30,000 at peak, and then we have 14,000 at low. 28 peak, 13 low. So it's the same exact as every other game. Lost Ark is not like this. It's actually different. That made many people assume that this 20% that is still logged in at a low time and doesn't abide by any humanly rules are the bots, which in fact are not humans. So
that
if we take 20% out of which one was our example? It was the middle of last week, 458,000.
I think that it's more than 20% bots. I think it's 30 to 40%. I think 30% would be a safe guess that I would make about the game. Is that 30% of the player base of Lost Ark is bots? And keep in mind, that still means the game is massively fucking successful. The game it's tremendously successful, and there are millions of people that are involved in the game around the world. It is tremendously successful, but the numbers are not what they are supposed to be.
So 20% of 458,000, we have this amount of bots in the game. If we take 25%, which is a, let's say, more to the fair number of what's the reality in the field, then this is the number of bots we can calculate by looking at the graphs. Now, we all know Lost Ark has a bot problem. We see them with our own eyes as we travel back to lower level zones. I've seen some people saying that there's 300,000 to 400,000 bots in the game, basically more than players. That's far from the truth. Let's still stay grounded a little bit in reality. I think that in between 100 and 160k bots for the current number of peak players, I think this is a fair assumption based on this logic.
I think that it's way too low. I actually think that's way too low. I think that it's at least, like, absolute minimum 150,000 at this point. An absolute minimum. I would guess right now in the game, I would bet $10,000 that there are at least 150,000 bots logged into the game at this exact very moment. Like, this is a conservative assumption. Yeah, I think it is too. Like, I do. And, like, I can go over to the, like, I can log in right now if you guys want, and I'll show you guys what it's really like. He said 160, but what I'm saying is I think that's the absolute fucking minimum. Like, what I really mean, do it now, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm not going to log in right now. Who gives a fuck? It's whatever. But, like, I'll do it later on or, like, at some point in the future. Like, there's a lot of people, though. Like, go to Argentine where, like, Sasha is. There's, like, a million fucking bots there. And anyway, so, like, here's how I see it. Interview a Lost Ark botter. I think I probably should. I don't think you're right this time. So the calculation he's doing is backwards. He's technically calculating the amount of real players, not bots. He's mixing them up, at least based on the theory you're using. Yeah, I think so too. I think that if I was to guess, with an active player base at this exact moment, where is it? Let me make sure I pull it up. With an active player base right now of 625,000 players, I think that 200,000 of those are bots. I would say around 200,000 of those are bots. That would be my guess.
That we followed through the video. Please tell me, by the way, if the logic is flawed in any way, or if you have any other proof to dismiss this particular logic. I think it makes sense, and these graphs are the closest we're gonna ever get to having any numbers in terms of how many players versus how many bots, and this is just by comparing Lost Ark to other games. Is it possible that the reason why the highs and lows in Lost Ark are not so steep compared to many other games on Steam is because Lost Ark makes you grind it out? After you finish your daily things on your main, you go to your alt, your second alt, your third alt, your fourth alt, your fifth alt. Maybe people play for a longer period of time, and thus the difference in between the peak of the game and the low point is not, you know, twice or 50%.
I think there's a lot of people that probably play Lost Ark very sporadically, right? And they'll play it for like a couple of hours, get all their daily stuff done, and then log off. I feel like that's what a lot of people do. I mean, yeah, you've got some people that are going to play a bunch of alts and play all day, but I think that's like a pretty much a minority of people. I think the average person probably does their dailies and their activities, probably plays the game for like an hour or two a day.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it possible that this would be the case, or do you think that flat out, no matter what the game is, there's other games that are grindy, there's other games that people play for a long period of time, and Lost Ark is just simply affected by... We know we have bots, right? That's absolutely visible. But how many? This is the question that we tried to determine in today's video, and obviously I don't think it's as bad as some people make it to be. I believe this number around 100k, maybe 120, 130k is actually fair. Amazon says fighting bots is a priority.
Let me look at this number. Okay, so 30% of 553,000, and that was the differential between the two. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. Like I don't know. I think, isn't he doing it the opposite? Yeah, like, I'm not even sure. I'd have to really look and check for myself. The differential is not the bots. Yeah, I'd have to really go back and look.
130k is actually fair. Amazon says fighting bots is a priority for them, and they have done some things to try to combat them, things that apparently didn't work.
Well, yeah, wait a second. So 30% was the differential between the high point and the low point, and what I was asserting was the difference between the two, like it would be the high and the low point the difference between the two times 2 is the overall population. So that would be 60%. So if 60% of 553,000 is somewhere around 280,000, that would mean that the amount of actual bots that are playing the game is like at 180 or something like that. That's a lot.
Such as the Steam trusted account thing. Then they removed some of the early tier rewards, leveling up things, and also early tier 1 stuff, things that bots have access to because they never go to tier 2 and 3, right? I guess in an attempt to deter them to play the game, to make it less, let's say, effective for them to bot. That didn't really work either, and what happened yesterday actually sparked a very heated debate on the forums, and that is the fact that they blocked the usage of VPNs. Now, granted, using a VPN was even before this said to be against the terms of use. So, you know, people who use the VPN, they used it at their own risk. Some people use something similar to VPNs to speed up their connection because apparently they live in rural areas. So that is considered again as a VPN to Amazon system, and basically they cannot access the game anymore. Now their Steam account is not banned. It's just that they cannot play, and they've already maybe spent hundreds of hours in the game. I don't really know. They thought they would be able to. However, not after yesterday's change. A change which also affected, for example, players who use VPNs that were from Oceania. Oceania has legal access to Lost Ark. It's not like they're trying to bypass anything. It's just that they're trying to make their ping better, as there's no regional servers for them. And of course, it affected people who actually wanted to bypass the regional lock. This is somewhat in the gray area. I understand, and I feel really bad for the players that were actually affected by this, because I personally believe that Lost Ark should be enjoyed by everyone, and since publishing rights were not given to everyone in the West, then people were doing this VPN thing. When we played in Korea for years, we took a risk every time we logged in. I had 2 of my awesome accounts, my first and second accounts, that I put a lot of hours in it. They were banned, and I can never get them back simply because I wasn't, supposed to be there. So I guess it's a little bit in the gray area. Some people mentioned that there were already posts on Chinese websites where bots have already found a way to bypass this VPN block as well. So maybe not the most effective thing, but at the same time, I think the devs might know better. Maybe this is just a step towards a process that's going to happen. At the same time, it doesn't make it better for the people who did use VPN before, but again, also at the same time, VPN was against the terms of use even before this, as far as I am aware. So it's a little bit in the gray area. I feel bad for some people, and maybe I feel hopeful that this would lead to something bigger, as in getting rid of the bots, because quite frankly, if you're a new player coming to Lost Ark and you start leveling up as you would do in any normal MMO from the beginning, and always seeing around you players who just dash through walls and they're so much faster than you, and it's just not such a pleasant experience.
It's demoralizing, and it makes you feel like, what am I doing with my time playing this game that's full of robots, you know? Like, of course.
Absolutely not something that Lost Ark is about. Lost Ark is about quality, beauty, polish, about the good stuff, right? It's a pleasant, lovely experience. Seeing bots for your first 50 levels, and a lot of them, is not part of what Lost Ark means, and I really hope that soon they're going to find a solution, maybe a solution that somehow doesn't involve other players, even if those other players are, let's say, part guilty, being hurt by this. That's everything for me on bots. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Very interested in hearing your thoughts. And until my next video, I wish you lots of love and stay safe.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to earn $1 million?
One subathon. Okay, so let me look and see what this whole thing says. All right, give me 1 second. People complain about grinding, spending weeks rating gear. Yeah, sure. Digital ID is the solution. Yeah, but a lot of people don't want to have digital ID for obvious reasons. So let me go back over. I want to talk about this and get into it a little bit, okay? So I want to look and see, like, here you guys go. This is a Sywo video. He's made Lost Ark content ever since before the game even came out in North America. I think his videos are really good, and as I said before, I think the botting problem in Lost Ark has only gotten worse and will only continue to get worse, because Lost Ark does have a lot of people that play the game. There are a lot of legitimate people that play the game. And it's like, if you want evidence for that, like, look at this here, right? Like, you look at Lost Ark game. Let's see this. Let me show you guys how many people are on the Lost Ark subreddit, for example. It's got almost 8,000 people on the subreddit for Lost Ark. Let's go ahead and compare this to a couple of other ones. Let's look at WoW. This is the WoW subreddit. How many people are on the WoW subreddit? It's only got 6,000. So Lost Ark has more people on its subreddit than WoW has on its. Then you look at OSRS. Yeah, we can look at OSRS. OSRS. I think this is the... oh, I guess that's not it. I don't know where... Yeah, isn't it 2007 Scape? Yeah, there you go. 7 Scape. Let's see how many people are on this one here, the RuneScape one. Oh my god, I can't even see this. Like, Jesus. It's got... Okay, there we go. It's got 5,000 people on there. So there you go. There's 5,000 people. Let's look at FFXIV. This is Final Fantasy. Let's look over here. And I'll wait to see this. 7,900. So Final Fantasy does have more people than Lost Ark on its subreddit, and that was the only one that has more people. Every other one has more than that. Look at Genshin Impact. What is the Genshin Impact subreddit name? And I'll look at that in a minute. Yeah, my Reddit has like 1,000 people on it. Yeah, do League. Oh, I think that, like, we'll look at the other games that are similar to that. Just Genshin Impact. Okay. Let's see here. Genshin Impact. Okay, I think this should be it, right? Okay, there we go. And Genshin Impact has 8,000. 8,000! Holy shit, that's a lot of people. They're not playing games. This is the real shit. As you guys can obviously see, there's a lot of people that are doing this. I'm not really surprised at all about this. It's totally fucking normal. And yes, there's a lot of fucking weebs. There you go. And video by Cry for Blue Protocol. Give your thoughts on the game. Let me see this. I'll look at it real quick. Cry Blue Protocol. Okay, let's see what this is real quick. I played Blue Protocol. This one here? Yeah, this one just... Yeah, where is it? Yeah, I'm trying to see here. It's like... This is a year ago. Like, this game came out a year ago. Who gives a fuck? Like, Blue Protocol, this is it. Yeah, I mean, like, what is this? Yeah, he stopped doing videos, obviously. Okay, so anyway, Elden Ring has 27K people on the subreddit. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Let's look at a few of the posts on this post here, okay? On this video. Okay. I started playing this game 3 days ago, and I've never seen so many bots in a game before. You will literally see 20 of them pass you by every 10 minutes, and that's not even an exaggeration. The botters don't even try to hide, and they do the exact same path while leveling, making the exact same stops and the exact same movements, all with seemingly random chatter names. I've been told there's a pattern to their names. I honestly feel bad for new players the most. I've made a few alts and started normally like you would see 1 to 2 legit new players for every 10 Berserker bots. It's probably ruining their experience and how they look at the game. I agree. I think that's a huge issue. I'm sick of bots. It feels like I'm playing with more bots than real people. If these bots could crash the legendary engraving market, that would be swell. I agree with that. I literally just started the game. I'm actually crushed by how many bots there are. Everyone has the same outfits, the same movements. And I really like the game, but I'm not comfortable playing the game with robots inflating the prices and such. The devs may know better. This proves to be far from reality quite often in recent years. I've gotten over 400 hours, and I can safely say this is the most botted game in any MMO that I've ever played by a long shot. The argument of 150 to 200k bots concurrent seems legit to me. Makes sense that makes sense as we've seen a pretty lucrative gold market in a game that's successful. Bots seem to have gotten worse in the last month. Well, of course they have. Because if they're not going to get banned, you're just going to keep making more of them. Yeah, like, of course. And they all spam invite to Asmongold layer? Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I think it's a huge issue, and I hope that they're able to solve it. I really do.